Alright guys, welcome back to the Basics. It's my favorite day. It's clean the drain days. Nobody else does this except for me? Well, I'm going to show you how to do it. Obviously this is a newer house, it's only like 5 years old, but I've already cleaned these drains. And I mean by drains like the actual right here in the sink, because I live with a bunch of girls and they have lots of hair and the kids throw all their toothpaste in here. I'm going to show you up close and personal. So, just to put it in perspective, if you live with girls, like I do, 3 of them, this is what you end up with. This is one sink, okay? This is why I have to change these and check this every couple months, because this is literally like 3 months of hair in a drain. You need to go through and do this once in a while, and you wonder why stuff gets clogged up, okay? So what we're gonna do is, we're gonna go right in here. I'm going to show you how to take this out, because this is usually where all the stuff gets clogged up, right in here in the actual contraption here, okay? I'll show you how to take the trap off underneath real quick. Most of them are going to be the same. These are plastic in here. You might have an older house that has like chrome ones or something like that. Tool wise, you're going to need some channel locks. I know we talked about this before. You're going to need a pair of channel locks, possibly a screwdriver, Phillips, and possibly a crescent wrench, depending on what you're working with. Most of this stuff is, and the newer stuff, the plastic stuff, is hand, so you can just unscrew with your hand most of the time. But in some cases you might need channel locks. You're going to need a little bowl and some paper towels, because it's going to get messy. You might even want gloves. This is for the faint of heart, okay? So I'm telling you right now, what you're going to see is going to surprise you. Alright, so let me get set up, and I'll show you how we take this out of here. I know it's going to be hard to see, but right here is with the nut that takes this off, okay? So you're just going to, that just unscrews like so. Alright, once that's off, this will pull out, but before you do that, we have to grab the plunger from the top, because otherwise the plunger will fall in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the plunger up there, and then I'll pull this out, and we'll be able to pull the plunger out. Alright, so I'll show you up top here. So I'll pull this out, and then I'm going to pull out the underneath. Alright, and then you're gonna see what this looks like. I know, that's gross. That's literally just a couple months right there. So you'll see all the hair and stuff that's in here. Oh, looks like there's a little tag or something in here too that the kids washed down. Yeah, that's nice. Little label. Which is why you need the bucket and the paper towels, guys. Alright, because this is really gross stuff. Alright, but like I said, look at how backed up that is just from a couple months. And what happens is the hair will actually, it gets stuck on here, around here like that. And then it'll actually, this isn't that bad. And then in here, you can see all the gunk that's built up in here. That's literally soap and toothpaste. So what I like to do is I like to get in here and I'll run the sink. Sometimes if you have an old toothbrush, it works really good. But I'll just go in here and I'll just get right in here, get all this cleaned up, and I'll get this cleaned off. So I'm going to do this, we'll clean this out, and then I'll show you how we do the trap. So real quick, I forgot to mention, putting this back in, I cleaned it all up as best as I know it is. You'll see right here there's a hole. You're going to line that hole up front to back. You're going to pull out the thing down here, and then you're going to line up the hole with that, and you'll tell when it's lined up. If this is down all the way, then it'll just barely be open, okay? And you won't be able to pull this back out because it went through that hole, okay? So that's the idea of putting that in. And then like I said, you just finger tight that nut back on underneath, so that's it. When you're pulling on this, it should line up just like that. Alright, so you know you're good. Just run the water, that way you can fill this trap back up. Make sure nothing's leaking. You only need to hand tighten the nuts down here underneath. Just get them nice and snug, but you don't have to over tighten them. The plastic seal is pretty good with the gaskets and stuff in there. One thing you want to keep in mind, when you disconnect this and pull that out, there will be a hole there, so you want to put your finger over that if you're rinsing the drain out. Otherwise you'll get a little drip drop down underneath here. So now in this case, you want to put the bucket underneath it. Same thing with this, it's just twist off nuts. Okay. Now what's going to happen is there's always water in here, so when you unloosen this, there's going to be a little bit of water, so you're going to want the bucket underneath it. But literally, you're just going to want to loosen up this nut and then the nut right behind it, which just holds on this bottom fitting. Like I said, in some cases it might be metal. You'll need channel locks just to loosen it, and then you'll be able to unloosen the rest of it with your hands. Alright, so when you do this, you're just going to wiggle it a little bit, and then you're going to get water. Okay. Just like that, and then you just dump out what's in there. It's fairly clean. Let's see if I can get you a close up here. You'll see there's still a lot of gunk in there. Looks like probably toothpaste and such. So what I'm going to do is I'll get in here with the toothbrush again and we'll rinse that out. I'll have to go in the other sink and do it obviously because this one's disconnected. But you can see there's still some hair in here. Look at the stuff just hanging out in there. Alright, so let me clean this out, but that's it. Just the two nuts. It'll go on the same way. You just stick it right back up in here so it's lined up, and then you can tighten those nuts back down. Just thread them on there and tighten it down. In most cases you might not. You probably won't need to do this. I only clean this usually once a year, if that. Most of it gets stuck up in there, so it's a little bit easier. So let me put this back together, and then I will show you how we do the tub drains. Alright, various different kinds of tub drains. So this tub drain, which is the kids tub drain, this actually just screws on here, this top piece. This is probably different than any drain that you guys have. This is a different one. And then what this is this just gets unscrewed, and then stuff will get clogged in here. So this is just a flathead screwdriver. You're just going to unscrew that, and then it'll come out, and then you can clean out that part, and then you can just screw it back in. And then this obviously has the gasket on it. You just thread that back in. So in here, which is my shower, it's just two Phillips head screws right here, and that holds this plate down. So you take those out and you pop this plate off, and then you can get in there and clean. I just did it actually. Underneath here it was all dirty inside this. So once in a while I just like to take this off, get in here and clean all around that, make sure everything gets washed down. And then you can just check the drain to make sure. Once you get that off, you can get right into the drain there and check it out. But these are usually bigger drains, so you won't have to worry about that too much. I just wanted to show you how you do it if you want to do it. Most of them are held on by either just screws. Might be one center screw, which is like a Phillips head or a flathead. You just take that screw off and the plate will come off, then you can get access to it. Same thing if you ever need to snake out the drains, which I'm not going to get into now. You just take this plate off, then you can feed the snake down in there and snake out the trap and everything. So this is why I'm showing you this video, because if you keep up on this, then you can clean this out. I know it's messy. It comes with the territory. You know, I'm used to it. I have, quite a few years of plumbing experience, so this doesn't faze me, but you might want to get some nitrile gloves or something if you're going to do this, because it is gross. But it's hair, it's soap, anything else that goes down the drain, toothpaste, everything else. So anyways, that's my short video here. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I'll try to help you out, okay? Like I said, it's not that hard. There's just one nut underneath there, and then you can pull this stopper out, and then everything's usually hung. All that stuff right there is just hung up on the stopper. So, and then you can clean off the stopper. Like I said, take a toothbrush, clean out the drain a little bit, wash it all down real good. Just make sure you keep your finger on the back of that stopper part that you pulled out, otherwise water will drip out of there. So do that. Make sure you subscribe. I got a couple more videos coming up. We're going to continue on with the wood shop in the other video. And do some electrical, okay? So that'll be coming up this week. So I'll see you next video. Alright, have a good one.